All right, y'all.
We're back.
We're back. We're Black and White Randomz podcast. I'm T, aka Sky. This is
Trish.
all right, folks.
So you might
Please
notice
go ahead.
it's a new setup, new background.
Yep.
We're in a new place, so
New location.
Yep.
Which is fine. We'll test it out, see how we like it.
Yeah. What do y'all think? For those who are watching us on YouTube.
I don't know. Just let us know. For y'all that are just joining us, we are best friends. We do this podcast pretty much once a week.
Yep.
We release once a week.
Yes.
Usually on a
podcast
Tuesday.
on Tuesdays. Yep.
But pretty much I throw random topics at Trish, and she pretty much reacts. Like those of you guys that are returning and some new followers, just please like, comment, share,
subscribe,
hit that notification bell for us. There's quite a few of you guys that are still watching our content that are not subscribed, and please just subscribe. Show some love.
If you have suggestions for topics, let us know. Absolutely. If you want to hear more about one that we've already talked about, let us know that too.
Absolutely.
All right.
Anywho, we're going to go ahead and jump into this thing.
Okay.
Alrighty. So, Trish. Why do kids want to be grown so bad?
Because they think they're going to have freedom. And then they find out you don't have as much as you thought you did.
I feel like generationally, like it's always been a thing for like adolescents to be like, I want to move out.
Yeah.
Right. Which I get that because like, you know, you start getting to a point where you think you know everything, or, you know, you've outsmarted your parents, or, you know, whomever might be raising you.
Yeah.
They feel like they cramp me a space. There's other kids your age doing a bunch of stuff that you probably aren't allowed to do in your household. Like you think you want that freedom, but then when you jump out there, you realize
it's the grass is greener type situation.
Right. It's like, damn, I wish my parents was paying all my bills.
Right.
I didn't have to worry about half this stuff that I have to worry about as an adult. They think this stuff is so easy. It's crazy.
There are days I wish I could trade in my adult card. I really just want to give it back. Just take it. Somebody take it.
There's adult type stuff that go on outside of like the monetary things as well that you now have to navigate. And it's like one of those things, even when you're 18, you're like, nah, I'm ready to move out and I'm ready to do all these things. And you really are not prepared until you actually do make that jump and you move out or whatever the case may be. So,
and motherhood makes you want to be a kid again too, because you be like, damn, man. Now you got the regular pressures of adulthood and then parenthood. No.
Like I said, I wish, you know, that these kids these days weren't in a rush. But now I feel like it's starting to get younger. Like some of the kids, like the age range of that have starting to have that thought is getting younger and younger. And it could be because a lot of these kids are starting to hit puberty earlier, but then social media making it seem like everybody's just blowing up overnight. And they collecting all these checks and whatnot. And that's not always the case. Y'all sit up here thinking that people's lifestyles are a certain type of way, and that's not always the case.
No, it's not.
But like I said, I feel for some of y'all. Real. But kids,
don't be in a rush.
Stop rushing.
Yeah, stop rushing. It's gonna come whether you want it to or not. You can't rush it anyway, so just slow down.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well.
Okay.
Moving along. Your opinions on so-called feminine women telling men what kind of women they should date based on how they're dressing and outward appearance. Physicality, like whether it's dress style, physical looks, like your opinion.
Yeah, so now we're trying to tell people what their type should be.
And I'm not saying this is all feminine women, but there is like some trend going on now where there's a so-called feminine woman who is going around telling men what they should be looking out for in feminine, in other women, not even necessarily feminine, basically calling out other women for not being as feminine as she thinks she is. I have an opinion about this, but I'm gonna let you go ahead and give your 2 cents.
Yeah, it sounds like you're trying to tell someone what their type should be based on what you think other women do or say or believe based on how they dress. Is that like, no, mind your business. Mind your business. Like,
So
like
this
that's what
this
that
is
sounds
my
like to
take on
me.
it.
Uh-oh.
And whatever. And I don't care who's mad about this, but
Uh-oh.
are you really that feminine if you're attacking another woman? Like you yourself aren't even feminine.
Ooh.
You're not sweet. There's nothing sweet about how this
It's
woman was
not
going
very
about it.
demure of you.
It demure. It was just not to me. I felt like, why
Yeah.
do you feel the need to be worried about who men are dating? I can understand if they're seeking advice on women, but they didn't ask you about how feminine a woman was.
Yeah.
A lot of times men know how feminine women are by personality traits, how they dress, which is part of it.
Yeah.
How they speak, tonality, how they deal with children. Like they can gauge that for themselves. They can do that. Like they don't need your help. Like
Some
her
men
whole
don't
thing
need
was
your help.
attacking women who dress in baggy clothes.
I was getting ready to
Who
say
have
that.
one of the things was, oh, if they have dirty, filthy Air Forces, they wear streetwear. And I'm like, you don't know why that woman might have been wearing streetwear. Like you have no idea.
Yeah, no.
And not to mention, you don't know these women's financial state. Like you don't know
It's none of
any of
your
this
business.
stuff.
Yeah, no.
So you being that judgmental of another person
For
already
why?
shows
For
me
what
that you are
reason?
not feminine.
Yeah, I agree with that. No. That's
Like, what are you talking about?
talking nothing. You're not saying anything worth value at that point.
It was just a whole bunch of hoopla.
Because my
And
thing
none of
is too,
that.
if that man is asking you the feminine woman, you the feminine woman are not what he's looking for. So sorry. Like if he was
I mean,
interested
it
in
was
you,
a
he'd
whole
talk to
bunch of
you.
her calling out women for, in her mind, presenting themselves like men. And I was
That's what I was
like,
gonna say. She was talking like tomboys and stuff. Like
majority of the descriptors that she was given still didn't even add up to them being like a man, if that makes sense.
no.
So I was kind of like taken aback a little bit, just a little
Yeah.
bit, because I was just like, well, first of all, what prompted you to even get online?
Right.
And
who
feud
asked
it?
you?
Like who asked you?
Right, that's my thing. Who asked you? If your friend is asking you, if your male friend is asking you for advice and you're his friend, you can say what you want. But to go on the internet like that, no.
I don't know.
And
It was
you're
really,
targeting women who don't wear dresses and high heels. Like
I mean,
those of us who don't want to wear makeup all the time.
she had on a nice, I believe it was like a pale pink dress or something.
See?
Which my thing is this: you don't know. Women have multiple styles, and I
Yeah.
get there's a soft girl, feminine era where you
There
can
is.
do all of that,
And that's
but you
fine.
don't know whether or not these women have career paths that have led them that way, because maybe they haven't found a man that's going to step up and take care of the family yet, and they have to be out here in this working world. They got to take care of themselves some kind of way.
Yeah.
Okay, so at the end of the day, won't you mind your business? Because my thing is this: like, even if that guy did, maybe he liked her dressed down, and he noticed her dressed down. He didn't have to worry about what she looked like when she took off all her makeup and all the other extra stuff. So he already knows, like, hey, when she dress up or whatever the case may be, I already know
it only goes up from here. You know what I mean? Like that.
It's one of those type of things. It was just disheartening because it's like you claim to be feminine, but
That's
like
not, yeah.
you're not exuding like feminine behavior.
No, you're being judgy and nasty.
Which is more of a masculine trait than it is a feminine one.
Some that mean girl stuff now.
I don't know. I need you to get your life in order. Anyway. All right. So moving along.
Okay.
All right. Who purchases their child a semi-automatic rifle after the child was already looked into for threatening to pew pew, because we're not going to say the other word because YouTube. Anyway, to pew pew up a school previously.
Who
does that?
Specific people who think they're above the law, think their children are above the law, and are in denial about the problems and the needs of their child.
Yeah, because this new school shooting, did not have to happen.
And
Absolutely.
I have been saying this for years. I've said it for a very long time. These parents are not going to get the message to lock up their weapons, hide their weapons, stop buying their weapons, stop teaching their children how to play with them until these parents start catching charges. I have said this for so long. And that father is about to catch some charges. And it might just make some parent in the future think twice. Because
At this point,
they have been reckless for years with the non-gun safety. Like, y'all have not cared at all. Y'all gonna catch some charges and then y'all gonna start caring. And it's unfortunate that it had to get to that. I've said this for so long, though.
The amount of charges that the father has versus the amount of charges that the son has. The son got the 2 murder, whatever charges he got. The father had like a laundry list of like charges that they slapped him with. Because first of all, you bought a 14-year-old a damn semi-automatic rifle.
That weapon was meant for the military. That weapon was never meant for civilians.
This is the thing. I know that a lot of parents teach their younger adolescent children how to start shooting at a specific age for multiple reasons.
Right.
They're
the responsible way to do that.
Whatever, they're responsible for teaching their child. This has been going on for centuries. This is nothing new.
No, nothing.
Right. This is nothing new. As long as they've been making guns, as long as they've been teaching kids how to shoot guns, right?
Yep.
I don't have a problem with that. Okay, when it comes down to self-defense. But I'm going to tell you like this. My grandfather and his brother, even my father had like some type of handgun in the home.
Mine too.
Growing up, right? Let me tell you something about that. They were always locked up. And my grandfather and his brother was so petty with it. They had a glass case for theirs, and they dared you to try to open it up and go in there and go touch any.
My grandmother's husband kept his in a glass case on display. My other grandfather, I knew where his was, and he said, "Touch it if you want to." Okay.
Like these
because that was a threat.
Are...
That was a threat. That was not a dare. That was a threat. And let me have gone looking for. He would have beat my ass. He never put his hands on me, but in that case, he definitely would have.
These kids are just getting to a point where it's though something has to be done, gun laws wise. Maybe it is. It's simple as, hey, your child go there and do it.
And you're responsible for it. The same as if your child steals your car and wrecks your car, you finna pay for it. It's the same damn principle. And y'all just have walked around for years like, that's never gonna be my child. Okay.
And then y'all keep getting shown time and time again that it is your child. But my thing is the stupidity of it all.
Yeah.
He already was, looked into last year.
Yep.
For making threats of shooting up a school.
And you didn't secure your weapons. That makes you negligent, and that makes you responsible.
It does. It's like, when does this cycle of goofy stuff end?
Yeah. Like, I'm not team take away everyone's guns. I'm not team that. We don't need semi-automatics in the streets. Those were never supposed to be, like I said, for civilians. But I'm not team take away your guns. I'm team be responsible with your guns. Like, y'all are making it to the point where someone can't even say we have the right to have these weapons because y'all are so irresponsible with them. That's the part that bothers me.
It's like y'all want to have y'all First Amendment right. But
that comes with responsibility. Like, come on, y'all.
Or whatever. Like, y'all want to have all these rights, especially because most people talk about the First to the Fourth Amendment. Y'all want all these rights, so y'all want to use them, utilize them when it benefits you. But if it's not benefiting you, then it's not a problem. It absolutely is a problem. Are they going to start putting metal detectors in schools?
Some schools have had them for
Some
decades
schools have
now.
had them, but notice what neighborhoods they keep putting them in.
And notice where these school shootings are happening. Okay.
Like, at the end of the day, Also, like I was watching, shout out the Girls Gone Bible podcast. If you guys haven't listened to them, I don't know
Yeah,
if you're
they're a really
Christian,
good
not Christian,
podcast.
whatever. But like, shout out to them because they had a doctor on. I can't remember the doctor's name right now. It could be Dr. Amen, but I might have the wrong doctor because they had like two back to back or whatever. Um, if I remember to look it up, then we'll probably try to paste it in here somewhere who the doctor actually is. But he did kind of like a study on not necessarily, he wants people to stop calling it like people have mental health issues. He's like, it is brain health. Depending on things that you're putting in your body, a lot of these mental health issues that they were claiming that couldn't be fixed and all of this stuff with meds and medicines can be healed by like your diet, changing your food up, and actually just looking into the brain. Because he had a nephew who was having like violent thoughts of potentially going to school, stabbing up some kids in his class. Like he really started getting violent like out of nowhere. Like he was a happy kid and then he started getting violent. So he did like a brain scan on this kid, 9-year-old kid. Brain scan, kid ended up having like a cyst, right? And he's telling the parents like, look, y'all got to get it removed. But because he technically was related to the kid, and I don't want to say he was blood related, I think the kid was just married into his family and whatnot.
Yeah.
He flat out told the parents, you need to take him to his doctor and they need to schedule a surgery and get ready to remove that. So when he took him to the doctor was like, I don't really think it's all that important for it to be removed. Like plenty of kids, plenty of people live with cysts, in their brain, whatever. Come to find out, when they actually took him to a different doctor, the cyst at that point had started pushing so far on his frontal lobe that it actually like started fracturing it a little bit. So by the time they actually took it out, the doctor pretty much was like, if he'd have waited another week, he'd have been dead. Damn. A 9-year-old kid, and this one tumor or whatever it was a cyst, I believe it was causing him like those thoughts of being like very like violent thoughts, wanting to kill people, wanting to go to school, stab people up, all that type of stuff. I say this to say, like, sometimes, like, the first warning was last year. What type of help did you get this child besides getting him a gun?
Yeah, because all you did was light the fire at that point. You just lit it.
Like,
match to a flame.
At this point, I'm saying like the father need help at that point before that happened, because clearly like that's probably why the kid is all jacked up in the first place.
Sorry,
and then listening to the kid in court, like this kid is not like he wasn't off his rocker. He was responding back to the judge's questions just fine, just as normal, chill, like it was a normal day.
A lot of these school shooters, a lot of them displayed signs of needing counseling, therapy, medication for years before they did what they did. And most of the time, they had parents or guardians who just, it wasn't that bad. They just chose to live in blissful ignorance of it. Y'all only gonna be able to stay in that for so much longer because they about to start charging y'all, and I'm all the way here for that. Charge them all. Please.
The kid gonna be charged as an adult.
The adult's gonna be charged.
An adult. So
your 13-year-old doesn't need a semi-automatic. I'm like you cannot convince me a 13-year-old needs that. There's no way.
No. And on top of that, on top of the kids that died, you got to worry about the students and the teachers that lived, and the parents PTSD. That have been affected because their children are no longer here. Like, to be honest, I'm gonna tell you, like, the United States, we got to do something. Like, this is just absolutely crazy. And I know they're gonna try to blame it on the states. Like, it's at the state level. The state can decide what they want to do. But I also feel like
precedent.
The federal they have to set some type of precedent, because like this is just so far out of hand to the point where those just like, we have got to do something.
Yeah.
Period. I know the first step is probably going to be start charging the parents, because I guarantee you a lot of states are going to start following suit with that.
Yeah, I hope so.
But clearly, like, these kids not scared to go to prison. Like, honestly, like, I don't know, maybe they need to be as harsh as start bringing back the death penalty in most of these states. Because we only have a few states over in the United
like
States where the death penalty is still a thing.
So we're still not going to tell y'all political beliefs. We are going to say, though, to the end of it being on the state level, go vote and do your research on who you're voting for. That's all we'll say, because there are a lot of lawmakers who are trying to start a change. Y'all are not voting for them because you're not researching them. That's all I'm
think that y'all have no impact is the problem.
Do your research on who you vote for and what they support, and that's it. Not gonna tell you who to vote for, but go do your research.
Please and thank you.
Right.
Alrighty. Moving along.
Okay.
All right. So, what is up with all these child attempted abductions? Now, I'm gonna go ahead and dig into this.
Okay.
I don't know if you've been keeping up.
I don't think I've come across this one.
Just last week, I believe it was, there was 2 attempted child abductions in the state of Texas, and I believe they were around the same area.
Okay.
And then there was one in PA last week as well, Pennsylvania. So the 2 in Texas, right? One of them, a girl was coming home from school, and she literally had to like run because she noticed there was a car following her. She had to like run up her neighbor's driveway, and luckily they had like multiple cars parked in the driveway, and she kind of like hid, and then somebody came out eventually because like it's a child in front of you.
Right, and most people have cameras now. So.
Like, you know what I'm saying, a 14, 15-year-old girl. And then they kind of like sped off. Same week, there's little boys outside playing basketball or whatever. They're like in their parents' driveway, and it was 2 brothers, and then they had their friends. They look to be like 9 or 10 years old, I believe, in the video.
Okay.
And you can see like this guy pulls up, and he's trying to like lure 2 of the boys into his vehicle. The one boy just runs off and starts screaming for his mom, like, "Mom, come outside." And this guy's he's being weird. Like, he's trying to get us to go in his car. So the mom comes out. The guy is like, she actually got a picture of him, got a picture of the tags, obviously, because first of all, he was on camera too, but like, she wanted to make sure she had all of the information she could get. But like, you literally tried to abduct 2 boys. Like, sir, really? And the crazy part is, he wasn't even the driver. It was the passenger that jumped out to try to get the boy, the boys or whatever. Like, I was just like, what? Then Pennsylvania this week, a guy had like some ice cream, lured this little girl into his car, 5-year-old girl, drives off with her, and like, of course, they had alerted the authorities like quickly. So the neighborhood is on high alert. Like, everybody's out, they trying to find, any signs of where this girl might be. And 2 boys are like riding on their bike, and then they see this little girl sitting in the back seat, and she, they can see her like peeping her head up, and they like, wait a minute, like that, it looks suspicious. Like, whatever was going on with the little girl looked suspicious. And it was an older man, like a 70-something-year-old man.
Oh my God.
So they start following the car on their bikes. So they followed the guy for long enough. The guy was trying to like duck and dodge or whatever, and I guess he realized he had nowhere else to go. So he kind of like, they were on to him. So he pulled over and just like dumped the little girl out of the car, got in his car, and then like sped off or whatever. But they eventually did catch the man though. They caught him at like a gas station or something. But yeah, the little boys brought the girl back to her, her home or whatever. And I was just like, bro, like, what the heck is going on? Because this is not the first encounter this year. There's been multiple instances of people snatching people's kids. And I think there's a little black girl, 13, 14-year-old black girl right now that's missing. She's been missing since January, and supposedly they might have had a lead today. 2 boys were like walking in the neighborhood, and they could hear this girl screaming in the basement.
I saw that on TikTok, but the police said they couldn't figure out which house it was coming from. So they like didn't do anything. But like, I saw that video of those boys like walking down that street.
Yeah,
they keep going past this one spot where they're like, it's the loudest here, but then they thought it was coming from the sewer line. Like, they thought she was yelling in the basement through a pipeline that was coming up through the ground.
Yeah, because they were near the sewer.
But because they can't just go enter in everybody's houses, the police, their hands were like tied. They can't go banging on people's doors without any proof or evidence. I saw that. Those boys were so desperate to try to help. That was sad. Y'all just gotta
Yeah, because you can hear her hollering in the video.
Yeah, you can hear her
You for
voice.
sure can hear her.
Yeah.
I hope they find her.
Y'all
And she's intact.
y'all gotta protect your kids. You have to teach your kids how to protect themselves. Like,
Please just have, if your child is walking home from school, and I think she got snatched, the bus driver said they let her off where she's supposed to go. So from there and her getting home, something happened. Like I know back in the day, like we used to walk home in groups. There was always groups of kids.
Yeah.
You know, parents used to always tell us to stick together, like because this world is just getting crazier.
Yeah,
and crazier.
It is. Yeah, I can't even imagine at what age I would even allow my child to get off the bus and walk home by herself. I don't think I'm ever going to let her. She's going to be driving the car before she can go home by herself.
I don't know.
It's like, just this.
Well, also she ain't got no instincts. Lord, praise that we got the group. Lord,
yeah, y'all
weird. Y'all
you need to have plans.
Leave kids alone.
Yeah, and y'all parents, you need to have plans in place for your kids to protect them, to know where they are, a way to track them.
Yep.
If you don't want to get them a phone, buy one of the Apple the AirTags. You can put it inside the book bag. You can buy your kids like cute little bracelets. They think they're wearing a bracelet and hide an AirTag and to do something. Because this is just, y'all want to protect your cars and all that. Protect your kids. Put these AirTags on your kids, not just your suitcases when you're flying.
Excuse me. Yeah, I mean, there's all types of.
Yeah, I thought about buying her an AirTag, and I know where she is at all times. I've thought about buying her one just so she has one on her, because it's just crazy. Sorry, y'all. That's if you hear that, the cat.
Hold on a second. If y'all hear the cat, we had to kick out.
Right.
All right. So here we go. Are white women now the face of single motherhood? Let me explain.
Okay.
So, about 20-ish years ago, whatever, I remember there were like some shows that were on TV interviewing white women that were dating black men, and there was the white women boasting about how black men were coming to them because they were leaving black women because of black women was too masculine, even the hair thing, they want kids with better hair, black women too argumentative for them,
right,
yada yada yada, whatever. Now it seems that the tables have turned. My, them same black men that was leaving black women as single mothers is now doing this to white women. And, now some of them are starting to feel black women's pain. You dealt with a damaged man. I don't care what race he is.
Right. Right.
Like, you pulled a damaged man.
Yep.
And a lot of the times, some of these white women that's dating these black men, and I hate to say that this is towards black men, they not in the cream of the crop white women. They just the ones that the white men, the richer ones, didn't really hang with like that. Not all. No. There's a lot.
I know.
But my thing is, if you were a decent human being, we would not be having this discussion, because I don't care who the hell you date.
Nope.
But don't try to rub that in black women's faces, that because they aren't good enough as a whole, literally as a whole species of women, a whole race of women, so the whole entire race is exactly that.
Karma's catching up to their asses.
I'm like, because last I checked, my mom was not a black single woman out here in these streets.
Nope. No.
My dad was in the picture.
I also think, I think now the idea of single mother, I know that technically it means a woman who is not married or in a relationship raising a child. Okay, fine. But when there's the opposite parent is in the picture, I don't know how I feel about that term single. If you have a parent, even if they're in a different household, yes, you're living with, you might have that child primarily, or y'all might not be living together, but if you have another parent involved, I feel like there's a different term for that. Like, it should be something different.
No, it's called a broken home. It's exactly what it is. It's still single momhood. Both of them are still single parents trying to coexist. Once the parents split, it is a broken home.
Yeah.
Once that other parent leaves or they have children outside of that home, it is a broken marriage. You better go watch the Nick Cannon and the Cam Newton latest interviews because Dr. Bryant had some opinions. People try to judge her for stating the obvious about him. And there's the one dude, we're going to get into him probably at another time in another podcast because there's certain men out there that tried to fight for Cam Newton and it just didn't make sense. You can't fight for something that's stupid. Just because he wants to live his life a certain way does not mean it's right.
That's true.
His fears is what has him in a certain situation. And to be honest, most single people, single moms or single dads in situations because they dated broken people, which most of us are broken. It's just how well you deal with your brokenness. At this point in time, like, people just got to start taking accountability for situations that we get ourselves into.
Yeah.
Like, at the end of the day, there's single moms for all types of reasons. You could have had a child in a marriage and got divorced. It's still a broken home at that point. So it does not matter. Like, people got to make choices, better choices, choose better people, better spouses. That's what this all comes down to. But for you to blanketly just say that, black people had, because basically what she was saying was black women create broken homes. That's how I felt about it.
Yeah, no, that's not true.
That's not all the way true.
No.
And it's starting to be just as many single white women out there with kids as it is single black women.
Yeah.
So what's your excuse?
Right.
Since it was set on the black woman.
Right. If you are one of those women, because not all of us believe that and perpetuated that. However, if you were one of those and you are now a single mother, what's your excuse? Because I bet you have one, but you never thought that there was a reason that black woman was a single mother. But I bet you got every excuse in the book. So
I bet none of y'all what's your excuse about the one presidential candidate right now that's created multiple broken homes? Y'all didn't say nothing about him. So at the end of the day, stop picking and choosing who the heck you gonna judge.
Because you shouldn't be judging anybody.
And just because you married doesn't mean you can't create broken children coming from that marriage.
You certainly can.
So let's get that straight.
You certainly can.
I'm gonna need for y'all to get y'all little life together.
Right.
What y'all doing out here in these streets is not right. Stop judging folk.
Yep.
All right. Anyway.
Okay.
That's probably the last one.
Okay.
What percentage of married women do you think are single mothers?
Oh.
And you know why this one came up? Because certain people don't think, they're like, wait a minute, did you say married and a single mom?
I actually sent you a video of someone talking about this earlier because I saw this video on TikTok earlier. There's a lot. I don't know what percentage I'd put on it. I'm gonna say at least 30, 35, probably, maybe more. You can be married, living in the same home. Maybe you're even a stay-at-home mother. But if you are not getting a break from that child ever, you are a single parent. Because the household stuff and the child stuff are separate things. If you're never getting a moment away from that child, you're a single parent. I said what I said.
I don't even think it's just defined as a moment. Like, if the dad is not stepping in to help with that child, period, at points in the day, I don't care how hard he worked that day. That's irrelevant.
Yeah.
To being an active dad.
Like, you should not have a woman who has to ask you for the time to take a shower. You shouldn't have a woman who has to ask you for 10 minutes of not having the child at her ankles, grabbing at her. She shouldn't have to ask you for that. And if you are having to ask for that, you're a single mother. Sorry. If that hurts your feelings, but it's true.
It doesn't even matter, because at this point, why the heck are you even married? Because if you think about this, right, I don't care if he even hired you help. right? For
That's
that child.
that's something.
That's even
But
worse.
that's still not
That
him.
means he's still not being present
Exactly.
with that child, which is going to create some type of deficit for the child at a point.
Mm-hmm.
You
It
know,
does.
so we gotta do just better. Period, as a society, and I'm not
Yeah.
gonna blame this just on men because there's single women out there where the dad is the sole caretaker. or
We have
whatever.
said that a couple times. There are some bad mothers, just like y'all and want to say there are some bad fathers. There are fathers who are full-time fathers and don't have that option either. So that's acknowledged by we acknowledge that. But the question is framed in the way of, you know, are you can you be a single mother within a marriage? And yes, you can.
Yeah, you can. But
can.
Also, there's some men out here because I was just watching, like, I can't even remember. This was a couple weeks ago. So I was watching like a video on a guy pretty much stating that he literally sabotaged his marriage so he didn't have to be the one to file for divorce. So there's certain men that do shit like this.
Yeah, if you're not
so
if you don't live in a if you don't live in a no fault divorce state, yeah, because the one who, in that case, the one who files has to prove that there's a reason.
I'm petty. See, you didn't even, sir. You wouldn't even have wanted to marry me with that type of attitude.
Yeah.
But secondly, God will, you know, He's working on
Brother-in-law, where you at? Oh, go ahead.
So at the end of the day, y'all just got to do better.
Yeah.
You have to be better as people, better in society.
Yeah.
Like, yes, for real, the ideal setup is for the woman to step back and be feminine in the home and be able to take care of the home. But at the same respect, you gotta, as a man, make sure that your wife and your family are happy and healthy. Yeah. As she should be making sure that you are happy and healthy. Right. So it's a two-way street.
But you both should be making sure the child is happy and healthy.
True.
It should not just be on her to carry.
That brings a whole nother topic though.
What?
Should you give more your attention to your child or your husband?
There is a period. There is a period of time where you have no choice but to give the energy to your child. But when you get through that point and they're walking, eating someone on their own, like you don't have to sit there and spoon feed them every bite, you can start to turn some of your attention back to your spouse. But if you are in a supportive marriage and you have a support system outside of your home, you have grandchildren or aunts or whatever that the child can spend a night or two with, maybe once they're old enough for you to be comfortable with that, you can take that energy that you would normally turn to the child and turn it to the spouse. But there's a period of time where you really don't have a choice but to just be attentive to that child.
And I get it when they're super young.
Yeah.
But
you can make time.
Where even at that point, like, you still have a marriage. I don't care how young that child is. I don't care if y'all just got home from the hospital. There is a point in time where, yes, he does need to step in and help you out. But after a couple months or so roll by, like, y'all have to get in some type of routine outside of that baby. You're gonna kill your marriage.
Yeah.
Period.
It will kill it.
And or you're gonna have to redeem a couple, by the time that child is a toddler or whatever, because I hate to say this, but men are somewhat attention seekers. They want to be the center of your world, just like your child also wants to be the center of your world. But if you guys can raise them effectively together and create that time and that space for you two, you should be doing that, because guess what? Y'all got that child for 18 years old. Y'all have each other for a lifetime. Yeah. And that child, and I'm not saying, like, obviously, like, you have the child the rest of your life.
Your child is supposed to grow up and leave your home.
But they will be out, if you raise them correctly, on their own at a point, trying to survive and thrive in the world.
Yep.
And hopefully you gave them the tools to do so. But, like, at the end of the day, like, you don't want to have to chase your marriage down for the next X amount of years after that child is born. Like, that's the whole chase. Yeah. Like, for you two to be able to find each other again. That's just the whole thing.
There's it's really easy. We've discussed at some point sharing how my daughter was born story. We mentioned on the reaction channel. We didn't mention on the podcast. So there will be a point because I had a really bad experience with the birth. But there is it even if you have a super easy one, right? It's so easy to lose yourself in motherhood. You have to be given the support and the space not to do so. Like you have to actively provide a woman the space to step away from childcare, to even remember she needs to take care of her own self, to shower, to shave, to moisturize, to wash her hair. Like if you're not giving her that space, she is going to lose herself in motherhood. And then you're going to wonder what happened. You got to give her the space. So it's a lot of balancing and juggling, and it's unique to the two people who make that child and the two people who then raise that child, or the village who raises that child. Even it's not always just two people.
Yeah, but I saw something earlier that was like really like super crazy to this topic. Didn't even think that they were related till just now. But if I'm a psychologist, right, and then there's a husband and a wife that come in to see me, and your complaint is you already had your man in a box, because most women do. They have this whole idea in box of what their husband's supposed to be as a dad, and how they just think once the kid gets here, he's going to be this. But then on the other hand, the husband is like, well, I'm just trying to catch up and take care of everything and make sure that everything gets here. So how the heck can y'all coexist if he's still trying to catch up to this, whatever expectations he has?
Yeah.
Right? Because you already had a box for him to fit in. And he a circle inside your square. Like that don't even make sense.
That's true.
Anywho,
yeah, that's true.
I'm gonna leave y'all with that food for thought.
Yeah,
just be better.
Yeah,
be better people, or try whatever that means to you.
Right. Put in some effort. You never know where it's gonna lead.
And get you some help. Get you some therapy. Get your Bible. I don't know what to tell
Everybody
you.
go to therapy. Everybody.
Anyway, like, comment, share,
subscribe,
hit that notification bell.
Yep. And our reaction channel on YouTube, if you're not watching, is Black and White Reacts. Is so Black and White, and then REACV. You can find the video versions of our podcast and our reaction channel.
Yep.
All right, y'all. We'll be back next week. Bye.